All right. Well, welcome everyone. We are officially at the start of week two. Thank you all so much for being here on time, ready to go, cameras on, mics muted, not multitasking. You all are in great shape. And just by being here, on time, right at the top of the hour, you're already showing up and you're doing the work, which is half the battle when it comes to, an ultra intense in-depth digital marketing boot camp course like you're going through right now. I'm going to get started here. I'm pulling up the slide deck now, but it's hard to believe we're already into class 3. And today we're going to be focusing on picking out your real life campaign. For those of you who are, just getting started, whether you're new to marketing or you've been doing it for a little bit, one of the fundamentals here is making sure that you're, harvesting the lowest hanging fruit that you can pick to make sure that your test and learn ad, you're kind of getting the best that you can get from it. And we're going to talk more about how you can do that in an easy way today. Before we get started and launched into today's course, I wanted to just go over a couple of announcements. First of all, I need to give a shout out to a couple of people on my team. First of all, I'd love for you all to give Jose some love, whether it's a round of applause or just, a thumbs up in the chat. He did fantastic work last week, getting everybody in and out of these breakout rooms to make sure that your business manager was set up. I can't even describe to you how difficult it is to be managing 6 different breakout rooms, and then eventually 7 when Julius came in at around 4 o'clock last Wednesday. Not only making sure that people were getting in and out of rooms okay, but he also had to have one eye on our team Slack channel, which Slack, if you're not familiar, it's kind of like Facebook Messenger, but Teams will use it to communicate. So he's keeping an eye on the Slack channel, watching for, one of my coaches to say, hey, I'm ready for the next person, and then jumping back into the Zoom channel to move somebody over to an empty breakout room. And I can't tell you how difficult that is to be, juggling all of those different things. So thank you so much, Jose. You really rocked it last week. And also, I want to give a quick shout out to one of our coaches, Juana, who up until last week was unable to be able to be a part of, our classes on Wednesdays. And she moved some things around with her schedule to make that happen. So I just wanted to give both of those a shout out because, that's kind of their level of commitment to you and to this course. So thank you both very, very much. We're so happy that, you're able to help us and keep the ball rolling for our students. And that's really, really important to us. Other quick thing I wanted to go over just right off the top of the call is all of you now have marketing coaches. I mentioned Juana, one of our fantastic marketing coaches. All of you now have your own marketing coach. This is going to be the person where you've heard me talk about one-on-one coaching sessions, God knows how many times already. This will be the person that you're going to be meeting with. These coaching sessions are about an hour long. And they are to be used for you to talk about the course and talk about your real life campaign and talk about maybe some areas that you're stuck and need help with the real life campaign. They're expert marketers and they're going to be able to help you kind of navigate the otherwise confusing back end of Facebook Business Manager. Or if you're really, really good with that kind of thing, they can give you feedback on your ad, which we're going to be creating next week during week 3. What I would encourage for everybody, and I know a number of you have already booked your first coaching session, is to, if you're really having a good grasp of kind of the concepts of the program, I would still meet with them before you launch that first ad, just to make sure everything is set up properly. And that's more of a week 3 thing for our material. But I guess the bottom line is if you need to meet with your marketing coach twice before that first ad goes out, that's not a bad thing at all. You get 3 of these sessions and there's only 10 classes. And by next week, we'll have gone through 6 classes. So you still have plenty of time to do so. But I don't want you to hold on to those coaching sessions like you're going to miss out on something. That's not always going to be the case. So definitely you need to meet with them at least once before that ad goes out. But if you meet with them this week and we get into the material next week and you're like, oh my God, I need to talk to my coach again, definitely do so. That's why they are there. And they're there to help to make sure that you get your ad off the ground and you're feeling really, really good about it. Don't forget BizHack Masterclasses. You're going to find those Wednesdays at 12:30, so be sure to check those out as well. But yeah, let's get right into it. So week one, there's a lot of doldrums of onboarding and did you do your survey and, kind of getting you up to speed. Week two is where we start to, get off of the main roads and we are now merging onto the highway that is this, social media marketing boot camp for you. By next week, we're going to be going 75 in the fast lane. This week, we're accelerating onto the highway. So we're almost there, but not quite. And that's because we need you to pick your real life campaign in order for you to build out the ad video, and then eventually build the ad in and of itself on Facebook. So what we're going to start doing every class is going over your assignments. And that's what's, on tap for, today's session. And ahead of that, I just wanted to, remind folks how you can do this in the breakout rooms. Just make sure your camera is on. Everybody will have a chance to do a screen share as well. And I do have a slide here that shows how you can screen share. Please make it easy on our friend Jose, who already does a great job for us. If you're a part of a team, just go ahead and enter your name, rename yourself, and then put dash and then your team name so that Jose knows to send everybody to the right breakout room once we get started here in a couple of minutes. So where are we in the course? Finally, we're at the week one portion, target audiences. This is where we're going to start to identify who it is who we want to target with our ad, and how we're going to reach them as well. And this class in particular is going to start to identify how that process is going to take shape, and we'll also show you some examples of how people have been able to do that really, really successfully in the past. If you haven't bookmarked the master schedule yet, definitely do so. Again, it's your one-stop shop for all the files, the PDFs of the slides, all of the recordings, and then any homework that might be due leading up to that class. And by homework, I mean any of the reading that you may have had to do in the How to Find Customers online textbook located in LearnWorlds. For this class, you were okay. There was no reading due today. So hopefully you were able to take the weekend and get caught up on anything that you may have needed to do from last week, from stuff you may have missed out on. And then lastly, LearnWorlds itself, you're going to have a bunch of other material in here. We have what are called the assignment guides. And although we're not submitting any homework on LearnWorlds, that is a past thing that we no longer have to do. There are assignment guides on there. And if you click on those PDFs, they're going to give you a step-by-step breakdown of how to complete each homework assignment. And it'll give you some, a little bit of extra detail that we may not always have some time to go over in class. So definitely check those out. And, if you're ever lost, just drop a note in the WhatsApp channel. Between the entire coaching staff, there's enough of us on here that many times we have one eye on that. And one of us can jump in and help you out as needed there. So what are we going to get to today? Good question. Our learning objectives, we're going to go over the 6 pillars of digital campaigns. We're going to talk about tips for picking your real life campaign. I kind of mentioned the low-hanging fruit earlier. That will be a part of this. And then we're going to show you what it's like to have the lead system in practice. And those will be some of the examples that we're going to go over today so that you really get a good idea for the second breakout room, which is going to happen a little bit later on in the class, to begin workshopping your real life campaign with your peers and with your marketing coach, which is really cool, in real time. So with that, we're going to jump into our assignment review. Remember, this may seem like it was forever ago, but during class 1, we worked on this thing called the story of you. It's your fundamental business story. Thinking of it as, your untapped, or maybe you have tapped into it, but this limitless energy source, and you being the CEO of your company, the chief energy officer, consistently tapping into the story of you, that energy to showcase to your stakeholders. And by stakeholders, I mean they could be your employees, they could be your current customers, they could be your potential customers. Either way, it's the consistent story that you're telling them in many different ways, so that they can pick you out from your competitors, and it ultimately sets you apart from your competitors. From the story of you, remember, this is going to be an anecdote, or this was an anecdote. It could have been something from your childhood. And if you didn't do your homework, be thinking about this, because we'll be able to workshop this in real time in your breakout room here in just a second. So this is going to be a story, or it could be a life lesson that you learned at some point in time. Just something that you can draw a parallel from an impactful moment in your life to why it is that you're doing what you're doing, because we all have that, whether we know it or we don't. And maybe some of you learned that, going through this exercise. We're not all going to have superhero stories, and that's okay. But being able to identify, why it is that we do what we do is really, really important, and is going to help you in your digital advertising better connect with your customers, because they see value in that too. Your script, generally, it's going to be about 60 seconds. Sometimes it's really, really hard to keep it under 60 seconds or at 60 seconds. I get that. I'm a media guy, used to work in TV. I like to talk, right? I had to fill 4 minutes for a weather forecast every single day. So you get used to it. But generally, that breakdown is 40 seconds of your challenge, your problem. Then you're looking at your aha moment, your epiphany. This is when you realize that, oh my gosh, if I do this thing, this really positive outcome occurs, right? Then your solution, and that's, who you are, what company it is that you founded or you work for, and then, the mission or the purpose behind that company. And all of that together makes this really tasty sandwich that is, your story of you, your business story. During this exercise, and really for the rest of each class, we're going to be doing this thing where you are sharing your screen in these breakout rooms. So I want to make sure that if you're not used to Zoom, I grabbed a screenshot showing you exactly how to do a screen share. And what you would do here is all you have to do is click on the share screen button. And what you're going to get is this little window that pops up. Whoops. What you're going to get is this window that pops up right here. All you have to do is click on whatever window that you want to share. And then if you're sharing something that has sound, eventually you guys are going to be sharing your videos next week. You have to make sure that that little share sound box is checked. If you do that, and then eventually you click share, you will be sharing your screen. If you are on a MacBook like me, I'm going to grab this link. Actually, Jose, if you have a minute, if you can grab that link where it says Mac user and just drop it into the chat. Apple is ridiculously protective of its users' privacy. So it's actually going to make you jump out of Zoom, update your privacy settings so that Zoom will get access to your screen share abilities, to your sound, and to your video. And then you would have to relaunch Zoom. It's a pain in the butt, but once you do it once, it's good forever. So just be aware of that. You might run into that technical hurdle. Coaches too, just a heads up about that. You may have students that run into that issue. If that happens, that's okay. Just follow the prompts, jump back into the Zoom, and Jose will drop you back into that breakout room as needed. So the other thing we're going to do today is every cohort, every group, we come up with a name. So what we found is this really cool AI tool called Namelix. And what it can do is essentially you can put in like a number of different keywords to describe whatever it is you're trying to name. And it's a business name generator, right? But we're going to use it to name our group of students here in this course. So you can use any type of generative AI, whether it's Namelix, ChatGPT, and you're going to work on this in your breakout rooms with your peers and coach, or any other AI tool to come up with a cool name. But we will use Namelix to come up with a logo for us. And then what we're going to do as soon as we come out of the breakout room is we're going to vote on our name and logo. And at the end of by the end of class, we will have voted and we'll have a cohort name, and we'll update that on the WhatsApp group, and it'll just be cool. So here's some past names for us, and this was like some of the ones that were, we came up by hand. My group was the Bizzoomers, and I'm like, that's kind of lame looking back on it. Ours was like a lame name. I don't know. And the logo is kind of lame. So I challenge you all to do better than this. And I think that really neat AI program, first of all, it's a really cool tool. Second of all, it's just kind of a fun way to name our group and have a little bit of fun today. All right, so we're going to launch the breakout rooms here in about 10 seconds. Just a reminder, coaches, I dropped the screenshots that we need for the breakout rooms in the Slack channel. Feel free to make reference of those. What we're going to do is all of you will have your story of me ready to go. Everyone's going to get, 2 to 3 minutes to share. What we'll do is it'll be a round robin style, so everyone will get an opportunity to share their story of me. And your peers and your coaches will be able to offer you feedback about your story in real time. Maybe somebody's story needs to be dialed in a little bit more. This will be a safe place to get good constructive feedback, so that we are all, helping each other. A rising tide lifts all boats, and that's what these breakout rooms are for. So that we're all, really jumping in and making sure that all of us are putting out some really awesome ad campaigns when the time comes. So be mindful of time, coaches, please, because we want to make sure that we get to everybody. So I have 45 minutes allocated to this. So by 2 o'clock, my time, 4 o'clock your time, we'll all be coming back into the main room. So Jose, go ahead and launch those breakout rooms, and coaches, I'll jump in and out of breakout rooms and kind of listen in, and then we'll do our vote once we're done, coming up at the top of the hour.
For the ones that's still here in the main room, let me assign you with your coach. Just give me a second, please.
Yep, it always takes a second. There's 6 breakout rooms, and it takes a moment to have those set up. So and we may have some folks joining late too.
Jose, do you have my room set up? For my group?
Yeah, yes, it must be. Sorry, Julius, just give me a second.
Yeah.
Sorry, sorry about it.
No worries.
There you go. Hi, Karina, how are you? I think you are. I think you are mute. Yeah.
Hi.
Hey, Karina, how are you?
Good, good. The thing is that I was late. I couldn't come earlier. So everybody's in the break rooms?
Yes, correct. Let me assign you with your coach. That is Juan Diego.
Okay.
So I'll assign you right now and see you in 40 minutes back here in the main room.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey, Jose.
Hey, Jordan.
Okay.
Oh, man. This was, assigning all these people into the rooms.
Mhm.
I try to do it as fast as I can, but and there's people that is logging in later and stuff, but everybody's now assigned.
Good. Coaches should be able to immediately, because they're co-hosts, they need to go into their own rooms. You don't need to be assigning them to their room.
Yeah. I don't know why Julius was in the main room because I think I already assigned him as co-host, but
Yeah.
I'll check that right now.
That's okay. That's one of those things that gets we don't know until we do it. So I jumped into his
Yeah.
room until I saw him pop in. So
Okay.
awesome.
So right now for these 45 minutes, we're in good shape, right? We just need to wait until they come back.
Yeah, exactly. So what I will probably do is I'm going to jump in and I'm just going to rotate and listen in.
Okay.
So you'll see
Okay.
me kind of pop in and out of the main room.
Okay.
When there's about 10 to 15, probably at the 15-minute mark, I'm going to do another round and just say, hey, we need to switch over to Namelix to come up with the with our cohort name and logo. Then when we come out of the breakout room, we'll immediately go into the voting. And yeah. And then we'll
Look,
pick up
it's
some course content from there.
okay. It seems that today I have the option for launch the polls. I don't know what's different this time, but it gives me the option. So whenever you want to run it, let me know and I'll launch it. And thanks for the thumbs up at the beginning.
Yeah, well, you did a great job, man. That was tough last week.
Thank you, man.
That's a lot of spinning plates.
I know.
Yeah.
Yes, since it's a large cohort and assigning all these people and rotating, like it was crazy. But yeah, it came really good.
Well, our previous cohort, I want to say we had the last time we did this class was spring 2023, and I think we had 50 total students, and that was like teams plus individuals. So I
can
we blew
imagine
out of the water, and that was a big group too. But we had four marketing coaches. I think prior to that, we only had 3. But yeah, it's good stuff. It's going to be a good group. Everybody is really, on top of it. Nobody's disruptive. Everybody wants to learn. So it's good stuff.
Yeah, I see a lot of enthusiasm from everybody. Like everybody's asking, everybody is like And I mean, it's a really good topic.
Mhm.
I'm excited to learn about it also because I'm kind of unfamiliar with running Facebook campaigns and stuff. So it will be good.
Great. Awesome. I'm gonna jump out and kind of listen in on the conversation with everybody. So I'll see you back periodically here.
All right, Jordan. Hey, I wanted to ask you something really quick.
Oh, sure.
I took the Scrum course like a month ago, and they
Mhm.
did have like these cool assets that when they came back from breakout rooms, they put like play music to everybody. So uh, play the music, waiting until everybody's back into the room, into the main room,
Mhm.
and then the class continue. I don't know if you would like me to do that.
You know, let's keep it simple for now. I think I think it's a
Yeah,
good idea, but I don't want to complicate anything, especially with a
yeah,
group this big.
yeah.
So
And I was thinking also that if we upload this into YouTube,
yep.
that will make a problem with the music.
Yeah,
Should I stop recording? Yes, right.
um
Until the
yes.
breakout rooms come back.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Gabriel just posted his. Crystal, have you put yours in the WhatsApp channel? Thank you. Thank you. Interesting. Oh, I can't wait to see what everybody has. All right. JD's coming back in. So Gabriel posted his, Crystal's posting her groups. JD, go ahead and post yours into the WhatsApp. Awesome. Awesome. Oh man, these are so cool. I hope you all had fun making this. What you're going to find is you go into Canva and you're working on creating your ads. Canva has tools like this that you can just really create some really neat stuff. I wonder if I can make this bigger. Mike just posted theirs. Oh, I like that. I like that. All right. So everybody's going to be back in under a minute. So we've got Mike, we've got Crystal, we have JD, and we have Gabriel. Awesome. So we'll have Juana's group, we'll have Julius's group. Here comes Julius. I like it. Oh man, you guys are gonna have a tough time you guys are gonna have a tough time voting. All of these are coming into the WhatsApp channel, by the way. So once we have Juana's, I think we're in good shape. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 5. Awesome. You guys are on top of it. Well, thank you, coaches. Is everybody back in the main room? I think. Awesome. Um, I think, Juana, we're just waiting on your screenshot and then we'll be good to go.
It's coming.
Okay,
We
cool.
ran out of time.
Oh, no worries. So do you need a couple of extra minutes to put the finishing touches on it?
Yes.
Okay, no worries. I can definitely accommodate that. So, just jump off of mute. I can jump back into some of the course material. Jump off of mute when yours is good to go, and then we'll launch the poll. So, first of all, great job, everyone. I went in and I jumped in and I listened to everybody's, all the different groups, and I only got to hear a couple of people from each group. But I think you all did a fantastic job. I think you all, really embraced this exercise, and kudos for you for doing that. It's really pivotal to understand what your story is so that you can better connect with your stakeholders. So great job. Now we're going to get more into, the actual, kind of the nitty gritty of, what it means to build out your campaign. And every campaign of a good digital campaign is going to have 6 pillars. You can see them here. They range from your campaign objective, all the way down to your target audience. These are a pair that we've been working on. The irresistible offer, thumb-stopping visual, compelling message, and then eventually call to action as well. Each pillar is important, in and of its own. It has its own strengths to help propping up your digital campaign. Think about these are 6 columns. Your campaign is resting on top of them. And it takes all 6 columns to prop up a really, really good digital campaign. So pillar 1 is your campaign objective. These are going to be relevant to, it doesn't matter if, your business is small or large. You're looking at brand awareness, lead generation, online sales, this would be conversion. This is going to help you determine your KPI, your key performance indicator, AKA the result of your campaign. And this is going to be how you're measuring your success. So for example, for our test and learn ad, our awareness ad, our KPI is going to be 2-second continuous video views. That'll be the key element that we are reporting on when we get after the catch-up week and look at the analysis from that first ad. Facebook has kind of shuffled things up recently. You have 6 different ways that you can optimize your objectives. So what we are going to be working on is we'll be in the awareness tab, optimizing for video views. And again, it'll be those 2-second video views. But you can see there's really a lot that you can do within Facebook based off of what it is that's going to be centric to your ad campaign. Your second pillar is going to be your target audience. This is going to be something that we're going to touch on a little bit today, but it'll be more focused on classes 4 and 5. Class 4, we're going to show you how you can find your ideal customer. We're going to help you build out and workshop using ChatGPT how to find that ideal customer. And then class 5 is where we're going to get really technical. And we're going to be looking at different audiences, including your custom audiences, lookalike audiences, and then we'll talk about the AI component of Advantage Plus audience, which is Meta's relatively new feature that they're pushing people towards. And we'll talk about the pros and cons of that next week. Your irresistible offer, this will be for your retarget ad, but your irresistible offer, in a sense, is going to be that piece of that nugget that you're going to be dangling in front of people who see your ad online, and they either buy from you or you get their foot in the front door where you're getting something from them. If it's a phone number, if it's an email address, in exchange, you would give them something for them giving you that key piece of information, in which case you can use that information to go back after people, the retargeting ad, or if you harvest their email, go after them via email. Email is really, really valuable in that sense. Pillar 4 is your thumb-stopping video. This is going to be something that we cover in class next week as well. But in general, we're looking at 12 to 15 seconds because we have the collective attention span of a squirrel, and we can't really watch anything more than that. Also, when you have a shorter video, Facebook doesn't have to spend as much time and money, and your money, placing that ad for you, because it's less time for them to spend placing that ad because it's taking up less time. Pillar 5, your compelling message. This is where your message, that exercise that you just went through, is going to shine through. You're being authentic, you're being transparent. In some cases, you're being vulnerable in order to build that bridge and better connect with your audience and your potential customers. And then finally, the last picture is going to be pillar is going to be your call to action. This is going to be ultimately the action that you are trying to get them to take. If it's filling out a lead form or going to a landing page on your website, if it's content that they can't get access to unless they take an action, for signing up for a course or giving out personal information that might be their email or phone number. Once you get their email address, you know, plopping them into an email marketing campaign, a drip campaign, to nurture those people that you know, you are gathering their info from your ad. These pillars can be paired off, and it can be a pretty robust marketing strategy for you. I mean, a lot of these pillars are going to be related in one way, shape, or form. Like if you look at target audience and irresistible offer, they're related because your target audience should be responding to the same irresistible offer, because you've identified them and say, hey, this group of people needs what I'm giving them. So they're going to respond to it. And the same goes for your thumb-stopping, visual, and compelling message. Ultimately, the text within your ad, it's going to have to relate to the video somehow. If those two things are you know, discontinuous and they don't make sense with one another, your ad's not going to make sense to your target audience. And then lastly, your last pillar pairs are your customer journey and the campaign objective. You know, ultimately, your customer journey is going to be for where tracking basically where they enter the marketing funnel for you. If they see your ad on Facebook or if they see your sign on the billboard on the side of a highway, how are you taking them through the journey of essentially becoming a customer of yours where they buy from you? And that ties in your campaign objective, because you know your campaign objective is going to be centric toward getting them to convert, your KPI, right? And the journey is going to be centric in order to get them to do that. So all of these pillars are related to one another, and eventually all six working together will eventually drive, at the very least, your campaign objectives, hopefully getting you sales in the future. So tips for picking your real life campaign. This is going to be a test and learn ad. So what do I mean by this? You're not a marketing company who's dumping thousands of dollars into an ad campaign, you know, where you're going to be generating tens of $1,000s in sales. This is something that you're doing in real time. And if it works for you and you get sales out of this, or you get general awareness, which you will get no matter what, any sales that come with it, that's just icing on the cake, because these are skills you can rinse and repeat and use long after you've taken this course. The idea of your real life campaign is to figure out, you know, what is working and what's not working, and you're not breaking the bank to do it. So yes, you have to pay to get some eyeballs and views on that initial awareness ad, but you're going to find out really quickly, you know, what's working really well for you and what's not necessarily working well for you. It's going to help you practice the lead building system, which is really important. That's everything that we're going to be doing here through the 10-week course. And ultimately, the real life campaign will generate leads and hopefully sales for whatever it is that you're going to be offering. Now, just to be candid, when I took this course years ago, we were trying to generate leads and then eventually sales for a ridiculously expensive tool that my agency offers. And we weren't able to do it. But I can tell you right now, I learned a really good skill set that we were able to move over to the LinkedIn channel and generate some buzz on our page because of that. So that's what the real life campaign did for us. So it still moved the needle. It just unfortunately for us didn't move the bottom line. And I don't want anybody here to be disappointed if and when that happens for you. So the tool is called our brand protection tool, Jessica. And it's hard to communicate that in terms of visuals. It's more of something that we deploy with our retainer clients now to try to get them to buy that tool as an add-on to help them with our PR outreach. So you've heard me mention a couple of times, you know, the low-hanging fruit. You know, what is the lowest hanging fruit? You know, think about it as, you know, literally the lowest hanging fruit on a tree. Why work to climb to the top of the tree to pluck ripe fruit when you don't have to do that? You can just reach up and take what is the lowest hanging fruit. So be thinking and mindful of something that is just one single product that you offer or service that you offer that you do really, really well. mainly because you want to maximize your, your KPI, right? This is something that should be really, really well established. Juana, thank you for jumping in there. This should be something that's really, really well established, and it should be marketed toward people who you know really, really well. You're going to take the best of what you know with the easiest method of doing it, and that will be, the 50 to 75 or, up to, I would say, no more than $100 that you put behind your initial awareness campaign. That way you're making good on the amount of money that you're spending, but you're also, getting some really good information from it too. And ultimately, if you do generate sales because you're really good at it, your audience, and the product or service that you offer is tried and true, it's the most likely opportunity you're going to make money right away from this, even from a test and learn ad. And that's what you can workshop here. That'll be in our second breakout room coming up in about 20 minutes. So your small budget, this is going to be your total campaign budget, $100 to $200. So if your, budget is tight for the business, $50 an ad, that's totally okay. If you're willing to spend a little bit more, up to $100 per ad is okay. Generally speaking, again, you don't want to spend any more than this because you're learning how to do it, right? It's one of those things where think about the first car that you owned. Maybe that you drove in high school is probably a beater. Because if you were to wreck the car, like it's your first one and it's like, okay, I didn't wreck a brand new Maserati that I was driving at 16 years old. Think about it the same way with your campaign. Don't dump a ton of money into it, but you will get something out of it, just like your first car you did. The number one thing that you want to get from this is insights to figure out what works and what doesn't work for your target audience. A lot of you are going to find that you do a swing and a miss on your target audience, and that happens. Some of you will find you knock it out of the park with your target audience. It's going to come in waves for multiple people, and it's going to be different for everybody. The bottom line is you're going to get really, really good practice using the lead building system and really deploying that methodology at a really high level that fits for your business and fits for the product or service that you're offering. And it may take a few of these even after the course, especially if you're into like a really niche business, it might take some practice. But the skills that you're going to learn, today and through the rest of the course are going to help you do that. So even if it takes you 2 or 3 times, it will eventually work for you. Some real life campaign offers that you can be thinking of. For B2B companies, this can be something that, focuses on attracting leads. And how do you do that? You can do like a white paper, an ebook, a webinar. I've seen people time and again, like I get blasted with webinars to, give us your information, attend this webinar, and then we're going to try to sell to you because we've got your email now. In fact, I've got to get back to somebody from a webinar that I watched 2 weeks ago and make a decision if I want to buy their product just from that marketing. For B2C, you could be looking at a free trial, a buyer discount. Maybe it's a newsletter that you're offering people. The goal is to get people to, give you a little bit, but you're not necessarily asking for their hand in marriage yet, right? You're not trying to give them the full court press in sales. You're just trying to learn a little bit more about them. So you can set up your sales meeting, and it may take several sales meetings to eventually convert a lead. But if you have that information, it makes it a whole lot easier to do so. Awesome. So Jose, I just got a message from Juana. We have our final campaign, or we have our final cohort image. So what we are going to do is Jose is going to launch the poll. Oh man, these are all so freaking good. Jose is going to launch the poll. And what we're going to do is vote on our favorite. Here are the rules though. Within the poll, you can't vote for your own group. You have to vote for another group's. You have to vote for another group's picture and name. So let me share my window. And what I'll do is we'll take no more than like 2 minutes to do this. Maybe 2 minutes is even too long. but I'll just go through one by one. And I'll make it bigger. So this is Gabriel's. This is Gabriel's groups. This one here is going to be, I believe, JD's group. Is that right, JD? Yes. So this is JD's group. This one here, Adve Ninjas, Crystal's group. This one here is Mike's group, DigiSpark. This next one is Julius's group. And then our last one is Team Wana. And I'll go back through them once again, just in case you're having a hard time picking which one. So it looks like only 19 of you have voted, 20, okay, 21. So the votes are being tallied. So I'll go through them again while people are voting.
I don't see the poll again. I lowered it to look at the screen. Can you put it back up?
So the poll is running right now. If you go down and if you click on your Zoom window, it should pop up, or you can direct message me, Lisa, and I will tally your vote with whomever it goes to in case there's a tiebreaker. So there's Team Gabriel, Team JD, Team Crystal, Team Mike, Team Julius, and lastly, Team Wana. And I think I don't see your direct message, Lisa. Were you able to vote?
Yes, I voted.
Okay, awesome. All right, so we have 46, 47. I'm going to give everybody 10 more seconds to vote. And then we will end the poll and reveal the winner at the end of class. So awesome. I'm going to jump back into the slides. Jose, when you're done, looks like I have one more vote that just hit my inbox. I'm looking to see if that has tipped the scales any. Okay. Jose, you can end the poll. I'm going to jump back into the slides really quick. Thank you so much, sir. I think we have a winner. Jose, the winner that you are seeing in the poll results is indeed the winner. And we will share that at the end of class. Okay. Let me jump back into Zoom really quick. This is one of those instances where I wish I had a couple of different monitors. I could be like, bam, 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 go back and forth in between. But I've become pretty adept at operating on one monitor or two. All right, so the lead building system in practice. These are going to be examples of how you can deploy this system and maybe just take some notes. You know, hey, this might work for me. This doesn't work for me. But we have a couple of different examples, you know, in the B2B session, B2C session that will work for you, that we'll show you here in a few minutes. A couple of things to keep an eye on, especially for, you know, as you're launching your ads and you're monitoring your campaigns and you're trying to figure out, you know, what KPI is most important to you. Impressions, you're going to see this tossed out quite a bit. Working in PR, we use this this term all the time. Impressions is just the number of times people see your content. Doesn't matter if they click on it, doesn't matter if they comment, share, like, whatever. This is just the number of times that a set of eyeballs has seen your content, and this could be paid or otherwise, right? Reach and frequency. When you're talking about reach, this is different because reach is the number of different people who see your ads. So impressions is, you know, all in one. It could be the same person looking at your ad 4 times, or the same person looking at your Facebook post 4 times. Reach, however, is how many times an individual person has seen your content. So as you're looking at trying to figure out, you know, as you're building out an audience and you're looking at metrics after an ad has run, you will see those 2 different numbers. And if you're finding, you know, your reach in theory should be smaller than your impressions, because it may be that your ad has gone out and the same person has seen that ad multiple times before. So link clicks and leads, they're going to be a little different too. Link clicks are just looking at, the number of different people who have clicked on a link, within your ad somewhere. Leads are going to be the number of people who actually give you something from your ad. So when we talk about lead generation, we're trying to find people who are going to give you their information, such as their phone number or their email address. So a good example here is a friend of BizHack and also former student, Mosquito Joe of Miami, UL Gutierrez. Before BizHack, he ran ads, was really having a difficult time making any money doing it. When you spend almost $4,000 on ads and you don't have anything to show for it, it gets really discouraging. You ask yourself, what am I doing wrong here? So what he did is, he looked at, pillar one, his campaign objective, and said, I need to generate leads because I need to make money. Well, what he did is went through the program, developed his story of me, and, his story of me just reads that since the moment I was born until my father passed away when I was about 15, everything I knew about work was owning a business. My father owned his own construction company, and that's what I thought work was. He built new homes, gated communities, and apartment complexes. I never thought about having a job. Unfortunately, after he passed, his partners bought the portion of the business that I was going to inherit, and I was forced to work for others. That's tough. I spent 15 years in corporate IT, and after learning experiences, one stuck, Mosquito Joe. So what he did is, he consolidated that story a little bit, refined it, and made it applicable to people who are, would eventually buy from him. And you can see, this part that's bolded here is Mosquito Joe is about making people feel safe and comfortable in their homes. In that way, I'm continuing my father's legacy. So he's drawing parallels from his childhood to what he does now, even though his dad worked in construction and he owns a pest control business. So what UL did was built out his 6 pillars. He wanted to generate leads, email and phone contact from people. He created a target audience. He went after the grill masters, the dads, and then he created a persona pair, which we're going to talk about in class on Wednesday. This is going to be somebody who is very closely related to your primary target audience, but not quite the primary target audience. So his persona pair for this were soccer moms. So he had grill dads and soccer moms. He had an irresistible offer, $40 for your first treatment. He created a really cool video with a compelling message of, are you trying to get eaten alive? And as people said, no, I don't want to be eaten alive, they clicked on his landing page link that had a sign up form. And, he was able to harvest their information, which is really cool. So pillar 2 of the 6 pillars here, this is going to be your persona. And, as he's trying to figure out who this person is, he's like, okay, who is my grill master dad? I need to get in their head and better understand who they are. So with that, it can be any number of different people. It could be, parents with young children, men interested in barbecuing. So that's your grill master dad. Could be gardeners. I'm sure a lot of you have gardens, living in South Florida. Or just general outdoor enthusiasts, people who like to enjoy the great outdoors and do hiking and go onto nature trails. And what he was able to do was create an audience based off of his grill master dads. You can already see 45 to 60 is the age range, male, obviously, the grill master. And he was able to create, interests of these folks, including barbecue grill, gardening, landscape, barbecue or backyard. Facebook has got 1,000,001 different interests that you can build out into your ads, into your audiences for your ads. And as such, he was able to come up with this ad. With that ad, it has the video. I'm not going to play it, but it's a video of this man spraying for mosquitoes. You can see his $40, sale price there. with his regular, price of $70. I think that's important because I don't know how much spraying for mosquitoes costs, but if I can see that I'm getting a deal for, saving almost 50%, that's pretty cool. And that adds value. And also, I like that he included emojis up here. It makes it a little bit more relatable, a little bit more fun, for the viewer. And, it's pretty cool that, because he had different interests set up and he even had his persona pair, he had a fallback plan in case those grill dads, those grill master dads didn't respond. So when you're looking at your customer journey, this can be anything from a hand-drawn map to, a neat little graphic like this, but this is just basically following, what does it look like? What is the journey your customer takes from the moment they see your ad all the way down to the moment that you close the sale? And that journey is going to be shorter for some of you. It's going to be longer for others, but it's understanding how they get from point A to point B, and point B being when you make a sale. That's really, really important. So that how you can be touching them in each part of that journey. If it's a retargeting ad, if it's collecting their information and adding them to a email marketing campaign. For Yoel, he has new leads that generate a form piped right into his Slack channel so that he knows how instantly when somebody reaches out to him and can make good on that. And what he did here is after joining BizHack, 60 days afterward, he ended up spending almost $1,200 in ads, generating almost $1,100 in revenue. And over time, you're looking at a projected revenue of $30,000 just from those ads alone. And that does add up over time. And that's important to notate too. And when you do your ads, we create like a little spreadsheet for you so you can also predict those numbers. So we'll do a couple of more examples of affected pillars because I know some of you are B2B, some of you are B2C, and it's going to differ for each company, and for each of you, it's going to be unique. It's not always going to be selling something that everybody would need, like, especially in South Florida. Pest control, some of you are really, really niche. So you're going to have to get creative with this. So let's look at Neto here. He's a primary school teacher. He was looking at, with his campaign, a total cost per lead of $2.57. And he was looking at boosting enrollment. His enrollment before was 35, after he had 120. So already that to him is a primary KPI. What's important to me, boosting my enrollment went up by 243% with an average tuition of $2,000 and an average stay rate. So meaning the amount of years that these students are going to be staying, you're looking at an overall increased revenue there of 1.4 million. That's pretty substantial. He went through the same process as Yoel did, targeting parents who are new parents with toddlers, preschoolers, early school age children. He went after women ages 20 to 45 to create his ad campaign. So these are things you need to be thinking about and kind of getting into the minds of people who are going to be buying from you. Here's an IT product and service one. It's going to be a little more niche. The BTI group. They had an ad spend $35. Their first sale was a data cabling project worth $20,000. So it can happen with this type of test and learn ad, and depending on what it is that you're going to be selling and how much it values, one ad could pay off big time. With the potential lifetime value of this ad itself was worth about $500,000 for the leads that they got from it. Their irresistible offer, you can show it here, or that you can see it here. They had a lead. They had a lead generation form set up for a free assessment, and that got people into their pipeline so that they could, continue to go after folks, well after seeing the Facebook ad. And then our last one that I want to show you before we jump into our breakout room is going to be a professional service, something that be B2B. B2B is generally pretty tough to get into. We struggled with that when I took the course years ago. But it's definitely possible. Michelle's NRG Insurance Group, she had an ad budget of just over $190. With her ad, she generated about 6,000 impressions again, so 6,000 different people seeing the ad. The results that she got, her KPI, was to generate leads. She ended up getting, generating one lead and ended up getting one sale from that lead. So, from that, the first sale revenue was $650, and you're looking at a lifetime value there of $6,500 based off of how long she would expect that person to continue to purchase insurance from her. So you really can do, quite a bit. Even all it takes is one, especially if you have a high value, service or product that you're selling for people. Her thumb stomping video, kind of interesting here because you wouldn't expect to see, a tattoo artist with insurance sales, right? But she was, drawing that parallel from, being exposed by having insurance or not having insurance, and she was targeting tattoo shop owners, and they clearly resonated with her ad campaign. So interesting stuff there. Jose, we can go ahead and launch the second breakout room here in just a moment. What we're going to do is start workshopping our real life campaign. So as such, if you have an idea for something that you want to do, maybe you've been thinking about discussing it with your marketing coach, bounce these ideas off of your peers and your marketing coach. And this is actually going to be your homework as we head into class on Wednesdays. You're already going to get kind of an early head start there. So take turns and share. We're only going to have about 15 minutes, so be quick, but also have fun with this, get creative. And everybody has done an excellent job at offering feedback to your peers. So definitely do so. When we come back to the main room, coaches, I'm going to call on you to share a couple of cool examples if we have time. And then we'll also reveal the winner of our cohort name and logo. So with that, Jose, you can launch the breakout rooms. And we'll see you all back here in about 15 minutes. All right, so it looks like a few people are still here.
Yeah. Let me go ahead and to reopen the. Okay, so we have Claudia Romero. She goes with Juana.
Okay. Awesome. Oh, where did it go? There it is. Keeping an eye on the timer. Welcome back, everyone who's jumping back from your breakout rooms. Hopefully you got a nice little head start on picking your real life campaign. At the very least, just kind of having a good concept of who it is that you want to target with the campaign. It looks like everybody's coming back in here, so we're in good shape. So it's a good exercise just to get the juices flowing a little bit. And then eventually you will, this will be your homework, as you'll see in a moment, for this class. So Welcome back. I think everybody is back now. So let me go back to my screen share. The first thing I need to share though is we can finally announce who won the our cohort logo and our cohort name. So let me just back up on my slides. Quick sec. Do a quick screen share. And it may have been our last submission, but it certainly wasn't our least. So congratulations to Team Juana for creating our cohort logo and our cohort name. Nice job, everybody. You made us wait, but it was well worth the wait. So great job. What Jose is going to do is he'll update the WhatsApp channel for our name. And the Market Gang will go down in Digital Marketers Edge lore as our first AI centric Digital Marketers Edge group. So congratulations, everybody. Real quick, our assignments before we launch the end of class poll. We are working our way through the 9 steps slowly. We are right now working toward step 1, which is build a target audience, and being able to really dial in your real life campaign is going to help you do that. It's essentially going to be the framework for what is going to be your test and learn awareness ad. So what you need to have done for Wednesday is to pick your real life campaign, have an idea of who it is that this person is that you're going to target. By Wednesday, we're going to go through step by step on how you can not only identify who this person is, give them a name, really get inside their head, figure out who it is that person is, but also what they like, where they live, interests that they may have, so you can get really ultra targeted with building out your audience. If you haven't, you need to be scheduling your first one-on-one coaching session with your marketing coach. And it's a good time to touch base with your accountability partner. You should do that once a week anyway. I just put it on the assignment guide here, just as a reminder. But those folks can be another great resource for you as you're workshopping ideas and bouncing ideas off of one another. So by class, 4, we'll be looking at your real life campaign. By class 5, this will be your customer persona that will be due, and that will be due within class 5 for class 6. And that's week 3 is when things really get ramped up when it comes to getting your ad off the ground. So Jose, you can go ahead and launch the feedback poll. While you're doing that, a quick review of what we covered today, the review of your business story. Great job, everybody, for doing that. We went over some tips for creating your real life campaign. And started to workshop that too within your marketing groups. And then showed some, talked about some real life examples of how you can use that marketing campaign moving forward. For those of you who are maybe stuck still with technical hurdles, if you can't get into Facebook Business Manager, definitely stick around after this so I can jot your name down. Unfortunately, if you haven't booked with Jonathan, you're going to need to do that this week in order to, continue on with the course and get your ad off the ground. If you're still workshopping that, continue through that process. And if for some odd reason you didn't get a marketing coach email, or you may have lost that, number 1, check your spam folder. If you haven't found that, you can stick around and we can get that resent to you before we jump off today. If you have any ahas in the chat, something that was cool from this class that was a good takeaway for you, go ahead and drop it in the chat. Share that with us. Doesn't have to be anything earth-shattering, but just something that you may have thought was cool from class today. And you can put that in the feedback poll too. And then finally, remember last week we talked about we're going to do a silly hat mixer. So if you want to hang out for a few minutes and just network a little bit, if you go into Zoom, you can put on a goofy little digital hat. I'm going to do that in a couple of minutes once class officially ends. And we can hang out and get to know one another, which will be kind of fun too. So just remember coming up, our our class 4, find your ideal customer, our silly hat mixer after class today. And, don't forget to schedule your first one-on-one coaching session. Need to do this before the end of week 3. And if you do 2 coaching sessions before your ad goes out, that's totally okay. I'd rather everybody meet with their coach twice and make sure that that ad is optimized properly before hitting that publish button. And you'll be in really, really good shape to have some good metrics to look at and build off of for the second half of the course. So I'm going to go ahead and put on my goofy hat. If you want to stick around and hang out, you're more than welcome to do so. If you have questions, this we'll kind of fold in the silly hat mixer into our AMA here. But we're good. We